Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head to Wisconsin out in America, and this is yet another one of the beers that I brought back with me from my recent trip over there. And this brewery in fact is one that you would have seen me review about 3 years ago, but their beers are notoriously difficult to get unless you are actually in Wisconsin itself. So we're going to go to a little place called New Glarus, and we're having a taste of another beer from New Glarus Brewing Company. This one is their famous Spotted Cow, which comes in at 4.9% ABV, and they're describing this one as a Wisconsin farmhouse ale, so it should be really quite interesting. The only reason I was able to get a hold of this beer in fact was that my friend Maggie that got married, someone turned up with a crate of this to our party and they put it in the icebox, and I just asked her, can I take one of these away and use it on my YouTube channel, and she was like, sure, take it, go ahead. So yeah, big thank you to whoever it was that brought this beer along to the party. I don't know who it was, but a big thank you to whoever anonymously donated this beer to Rampant Lion Reviews. But really looking forward to trying this one. It's a beer that I've been told you need to try this one, and hopefully it lives up to its reputation, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on it as well. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from New Glarus Brewing. The last review I did from them was a lager beer from what I remember, and hopefully I can add some more in the fairly near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the American beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. Since this is a Wisconsin beer as well, a big shout out to my good friend Margot from NASA camp a few years back. I do need to get out to America again and visit her at some point. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about New Glarus Brewing then. So New Glarus Brewing, as I've told you before, are based in New Glarus in Wisconsin, and they were founded back in 1993 by Daniel and Deb Carey. And this, the little town of New Glarus, you can find it out to the west of Milwaukee and a little bit kinda to the southwest-ish of Madison. But Daniel had studied food science at the University of California at Davis with a special focus on brewing and malting. He later served an apprenticeship in a small brewery near Munich in Germany, and in 1987 he graduated from the Siebel Institute, one of the very famous German brewing schools, and then later he gained his diploma and master brewer certificates from the Institute of Brewing and Distilling in the early 1990s. So Deb is actually a native of Wisconsin, and she studied marketing and graphics in Montana at Carroll College and then business at Clackamas College in Portland over in Oregon on the west coast. But she very much takes care of the business side of the brewery, and she raised the capital to start the brewery as a gift to her husband, making her the first woman to establish and run a brewery in the US, which is quite an achievement actually. You know, the brewing industry is very dominated by men, and you know, as I always say with science and stuff like that, we do need more kind of female pioneers, I think. But today they now employ about 120 people. They produce roughly 220,000 barrels of beer per year, and they're also planning at the moment, I think they might have just started actually on their distilling operation. But they've got 6 beers in their year-round range. They've got 10 seasonal beers as well, and they've also got their Thumbprint series, which are the ultra limited edition ones, and they are the experimental brews that Dan produces. But this is one of the ones that's been with the brewery since very, very early on. In fact, actually, if you go and look at their website is a little bit old school. Maybe that's something they need to update a little bit, but from what I gather, this is one of the very, very early Wisconsin craft beers, this one, and I'm glad that I'm able to review it for you. It's always cool to try different beers from different states in America, because I know over there's really random laws and stuff like that that makes it very difficult to get a hold of some of the beers even from your neighbouring state and things, unless you just drive across the border and bring them back. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about New Glarus Brewing Company for the moment. If you want to learn a little bit more, of course, you can check out the brewery website in the description below, and you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, and that'll keep you up to date with all the latest goings on there. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself then. We can get rid of the brewery notes for the moment. So as I mentioned to you earlier, this one was listed on Rate Beer and things as 4.9%. Now I can't see the actual alcohol percentage being listed on the can of this. I'll maybe just take the condensation off the can with this one. just to make it look a little bit better for the video. But yeah, it says this one, cask conditioned ale has been a popular choice amongst brews since long before Prohibition. We continue this pioneer spirit with our Wisconsin Farmhouse ale, brewed with flaked barley and the finest Wisconsin malts. We even give a nod to our farmers. Naturally cloudy, we allow the yeast to remain in the bottle to enhance fullness of flavours which cannot be duplicated otherwise. Expect this ale to be fun, fruity and satisfying. You know you're in Wisconsin when you see the spotted cow. Whelan Dank, Daniel and Deborah Carey. So yeah, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting. I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork more closely before you do. This is the symbol of New Glarus. They've got that kind of fingerprint thing with the Wisconsin state outline. I think that's very cool actually, quite unique, and it's employee owned as well. That's one of the other things they do. They've got an employee share scheme at the brewery from what I gather. But yeah, really nice artwork on this one. Normally you'd find this beer in a bottle as well, but I think they have moved mainly towards canning. Many breweries are moving towards canning these days because it makes it easier. It's better for the environment as well because you can recycle cans without the same amount of energy and things, I guess, that you would require for bottles. But let's get it out and we'll get on to the tasting. It's getting a little bit thundery and lightning outside, so exciting. Yeah, I always enjoy watching the thunder and lightning, but yeah, just look at that. That's really nice. This glass is clean, incidentally. I don't know, all the bubbles are sticking towards the side. It is definitely a clean glass, this. But yeah, as you can see, this one, if I hold it up to the light, it's poured almost the same colour you would expect from a nice kind of saison or something like that. And you can really smell some of these doughy, bready, yeasty qualities coming out of this, as well as some of the sweetness of the malts. But this is a lovely, hazy, pale golden straw colour beer. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see there is a degree of transparency to some parts of it, but the haze is gradually just spreading down throughout the beer. This beer has definitely got more hazy the further, the longer I've left it. You can see there's about there's about a half finger of a frothy, I would say perfect white head on this one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass. The mass carbonation that you saw sticking towards the side of the glass has kind of disappeared now, and it's just a very kind of steady stream of smaller bubbles heading up towards the bottom of the head there. But yeah, definitely a nice sort of pale, hazy, golden yellow colour, this beer. So yeah, it looks very, very nice actually, and kind of the colour you would expect for a sort of farmhousey saison type beer, this one. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this. Yeah, that's pretty damn nice, I have to say. So straight away, with this beer, you're going to get some nice sort of white bready, doughy kind of notes out of this one. It smells like there's almost a kind of wheaty note to it as well. It's not anywhere near as wheaty as you'd get from a Hefeweizen, but definitely a nice sort of wheaty, white doughy bread kind of note coming out of this beer. But yeah, it does come across very, very nicely, I have to say. So there's definitely some sweetness in there as well. You can smell a little bit of graininess, but I think there's a little touch of a biscuity, almost caramelly note to this one. There's maybe a little hint of a slightly woody quality to the beer as well. Yeah, definitely a nice woody note to it. The doughy breadiness, I mean, when it's a saison beer or sort of farmhouse ale, you're always going to get that lovely big white bready, doughy, slightly yeasty quality out of it. This one to me doesn't come across as kind of spicy. Quite a lot of the American farmhouse beers can have a little bit of coriander or something in them and just be very kind of doughy, bready and yeasty, but this one to me comes across really nicely, and it's very sort of easy going within that, in that sense. So yeah, thumbs up to New Glarus Brewing for the aroma in this. It comes across really nicely. On the hoppy side of things, it's mainly a grassy note that you're getting out of this. There is a little slight kind of lemony, grassy note to this one, not lemongrass, just a straight up sort of lemony citrus, but it comes across very nicely, the aroma in this beer, I have to say. Yeah, definitely a little bit of a slightly lemongrassy note to it. Nice kind of fresh grassy hops, a little touch of floral quality to it, and there's also just a teensy little bit of earthiness, but I mean mainly it's a nice big doughy, white bready, yeasty note coming out of this one. There is a little bit of biscuity sweetness in there. You can pick up some graininess as well, some nice fresh grassy, slightly floral hops, and on the fruity side of things there's maybe a little bit of a peachy no, not peachy, apricot-y note in there as well, but mainly a sort of lemony, citrusy quality to the beer as well. It does come across as being very fresh, to be honest with you, in terms of its aroma. So very curious to see how it tastes, and let's get stuck into this beer then. This one is the famous Spotted Cow from New Glarus Brewing Company in New Glarus, just a little bit to the southwest of Madison in the southern part of Wisconsin in America. Big shout out once again to Margot. Let's get stuck in. Slàinte, skål. Yeah, that's really nice actually. I like this one. It's very easy drinking, to be honest with you. It's a farmhouse. It's definitely a farmhouse beer, but it's very, very easy to drink. Yeah. It's it's got a lovely breadiness to it, this one. I can see why people would really pick up this ale and just kind of go for it, you know. It's lovely and smooth, I have to say that, and I'll say straight away, this beer does get a big kind of thumbs up from me by any means. I mean, if you're into IPAs and stuff like that, this isn't one of the beers that's going to satisfy you that way, but I love the traditional beers, particularly the German and the Belgian ones, and I guess the Czech ones fit into that bracket as well. And this one it's a really nice take on a sort of farmhousey saison type beer. I don't know if it fits into either category as we would traditionally know it here in Europe, but it's a very well done but very easygoing beer, this one. So it's a very good gateway beer, this, I guess, into craft beer. And you know, this was one of the first breweries in Wisconsin, so it's probably a beer that's opened a lot of doors to other things for other people. Yeah, so let's try and break the flavour of this one down then. Middle of the palate then, you can feel that nice sort of wheaty, white bready quality, that blankets the middle of your tongue. As you go further and further into the aftertaste with this one, it starts to thicken out a little bit and you start to get the bigger, more doughy, yeasty notes there. There maybe is a teensy little bit of that big doughy, yeasty quality that you'd expect of the likes of a Hefeweizen or a Saison or something like that. It does have a little bit of that kind of banana, yeasty, bubblegummy sort of thing coming out of it too. It's definitely not spicy though, it's more of a sweet quality of the yeasty notes in this beer. But it's lovely. I wouldn't hesitate to drink that again. It's a shame I've only got the one can, to be honest with you. But that said, I don't really drink beer outside of the reviews that I do. I don't really drink much alcohol outside of the reviews that I do. But yeah, it's nice. It's just really nice how this whole thing goes together. Yeah. So, like I say, nice smooth wheaty base, the yeasty qualities on top of that. I'm finding that the more I drink of this, there's a little bit of an almost biscuity sweetness in the middle of the palate too. There's definitely a little bit of a biscuity. It's not quite strong enough to be caramel, but it's definitely got a nice little biscuity quality to it, this beer. In the back corners of the palate, you've got a nice little bit of earthiness. As you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, it gets a little bit more floral and grassy and stuff like that, and then round the very front curve of the palate, it's just that little bit lighter and grassy as well. Behind the front curve of the tongue, you've got that little oily bubble where the juicy, fruity esters come out of the beer. And for me, it's leaning. It has a little bit of that lemony quality to it as well. It's definitely got a nice little bit of a lemony citrus to it. There's a little bit of an almost apricot-y kind of flavour coming out, and that mixes in well with the slightly banana-ish quality that you're getting from the yeasty side of this beer too. So just pay attention to that as you try this one. Yeah, it's a really solid solid beer, this one. I mean, it's not one of the ones that's going to blow your mind with how fancy it is or how you know, how bold it is in terms of its flavour. It's a really nice drinkable session beer, this, and I can imagine with the cask conditioning. I've never been a great fan of cask conditioning. I always preferred keg conditioning, to be honest with you. I never really liked warm beer. I never liked that kind of English traditional warm beer type thing. I always liked the German slightly chilled beer. But you can see how, I could see how this one, if it was a little bit thicker in its mouthfeel and it was a little bit warmer, you would get these flavours coming out really nicely. It's almost, in some ways I could imagine this beer as being like an English wheat beer if there was such a thing. It's an unusual statement to make, that I know, but I can see what they mean about the kind of the cask conditioning thing that they're talking about. And I do find that the further you go into the flavour with this beer, it really, your mouth just kind of sweetens up. In this beer, it just starts to show its face a little bit more, which is really quite nice actually. So yeah, this one gets a thumbs up from me. I really like this, and the way the bananas, the sort of apricot-y flavours and the slightly lemony flavours from the grassy side of the hops come out. It's one of these beers where everything just blends together very, very well. So I wouldn't hesitate to drink this beer again, not in a million years. I said that the wrong way, I think I might have. But yeah, I would absolutely drink more of these. I'm just disappointed I've only got the one can. In terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say this is a mid-bodied beer, definitely a mid-bodied beer. Yeah, carbonation, very, very smooth on this one. It's got a nice sort of thick, it's got a very big smoothness to it. It starts to get sweeter later in the mouthfeel. This is a big kind of doughy, but still quite thick and quite smooth mouthfeel that you're getting out of this beer. There's a little bit of hoppy bitterness to it. I think you'd be looking around maybe 35, 40 IBUs out of this one at most. The malt base, like I say, good bit of smoothness to it. It does get thicker, but you've got a little touch of biscuity and caramelly sweetness in there too, and there's a nice little touch of a juicy fruitiness to the beer also. But yeah, I like how everything goes together in this one. But it's a lovely beer, that, and I wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. I would, this is one of these beers that you could just sit and sip away on a summer's day quite easily. And it's a great gateway beer as well, this. If you're just getting into craft beer and you live in Wisconsin, go and have a couple of these and it will open your mind to what beer can actually be. It doesn't just have to be the yellow fizzy stuff, as a lot of people will tell you. But yeah, a lovely beer, this one, and it's cool to review quite a famous Wisconsin beer for you on the channel. I don't get to review too many from the state of Wisconsin. But yeah, let's leave it at that then. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. As always, please let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from you, Glarus, as well. Do give me some other Wisconsin brewery recommendations too, and I'll see if there is some way that I can get a hold of them. It's just always cool to try different things from different parts of America. But thank you again for watching. Check out my social media, and I will catch you guys very soon. Until the next time, it's Slanger just now. I'll catch you guys later. This was the Spotted Cow, the famous Wisconsin farmhouse ale from New Glarus Brewing in New Glarus near Madison in Wisconsin. Until the next time, it's Slanger just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Slanger, skull, cheers, big shout out to Margot.